Good day. Thank you for joining me for another Dwarf Fortress tutorial. My intention this time is to cover the topics of, at least the basics of a job manager, aka a manager, uh, a masonry shop, or a masonry workshop, I should say, and a mechanics workshop. Now, unfortunately, due to circumstances a little bit outside my control, several of my dwarves were stomped to death by a giant bull moose, which they have now eventually risen as ghosts, which is not ideal. They'll tend to give. Oh, actually, we just got the one ghost. Interesting. Oh, do we have a human caravan in sight? That caught me by surprise. We have one ghost. All right. In any case, it's winter time here, and the dwarves are running around doing their thing. I don't know what they're doing running around outside. What are you doing? Storing items in stockpiles. What are you storing? What are you storing? I don't see anything being stored. I guess maybe she's off to do that job now. In any case, so let's jump down to the caverns here where there's a bit of digging going on. We need to set up some workshops, which I guess this is almost dead center in the map, isn't it? Doesn't really matter which direction we do this. So I'm going to extend some mining out this way and start setting up some workshops and associated storage space. I sure would like some dimensioning. How tall did I make these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 8. Ermagerd. It's hard to. Let's try it over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right. So we're gonna designate hopefully the same thing. 5, 10, 11. Let the miners do their thing. Once they have dug out, oh, there's enough room there actually. So I'm going to build a masonry workshop here, which is not called that anymore, is it? It's called a stoneworker woodshop. So we'll make that out of the chert that's laying all over the place here. You can see chert boulders lying around. Oh, unpause the game. Resume the game, maybe better wording there. All right, now we are going to make some coffins. I guess I don't need that many since I've only got one ghost, but, well, actually no, I know that I've got 4 dead. 3 or 4 dead dwarves, 3 maybe. And so I'm going to need to set up some tombs, which I will do. They will be very basic tombs. So we'll get a stoneworker. What are they called? Stoneworkers woodshop. We'll get a stoneworker. I'm just used to calling them masons. Get a stoneworker going on that. Oh, I also need to carve out an area for a manager. So maybe we'll put some offices on this side. Mining, we'll designate that space there as a doorway and this as a nice little office, because a manager needs a place to work. How are we doing here? Oh, wow, doing very well, actually. So I'm going to set up, now the other thing, which I didn't talk about yet, is storing and managing the stone that lays all over the place. So I'm going to set up a stockpile here, which I'm going to lay over top of the workshop, the masonry workshop, and I'm going to set it up as a stone stockpile. Let's have a look at what's in there by default. Stone, metal ores, other stone, clay, everything. I think we're going to take out the metal ores here. And actually we'll take out the economic stone as well. And only have it store, I guess, stone and clay. I don't really have any clay to work with at the moment. So that way the masonry shop, actually I'll set, okay, so now I'm going to show something else. I'm going to set the masonry shop to take from this stockpile, at least in theory. If I can remember how to do it. There we go, stockpile links. It's a little icon up here, which oddly enough looks like a stockpile with a couple of arrows, one coming in, one coming out. So I'm going to say choose a stockpile to which the workshop will give items. Nope, we're going to choose a stockpile from which the workshop will take items. We're going to choose that one, and we're going to choose this stockpile. So that workshop will take from stone stockpile number, whatever number. Number's not important. We'll take from this stockpile. So that should keep our masons, stone workers from using stone that is not economic, as long as the dwarves can keep this stockpile loaded, which they have essentially already accomplished. So gradually, the stone will get cleaned up. Now, oh, we hit some gems here, just a little bit. So now I'm going to build a mechanic workshop right here. We're going to make it out of, I don't know, chert, I guess. That's the thing laying right on top of it. Now, masonry workshops make things out of stone, oddly enough, or I'm going to keep calling it masonry. That's apparently an old terminology for this game. They're stoneworkers now, I guess. Anyway, they can make furniture. They can make, well, primarily furniture, I guess, to be honest. There are some instrument pieces, I suppose. Looks like that varies a bit, I believe, from game to game. And then they can also make memorial slabs, or how does that work? Engrave a slab. Where do you make a slab? Oh, here we go. Make a slab, and you can also engrave a memorial slab here. That's actually changed. That used to happen in a craft dwarves workshop. So basically you make stone, furniture, and doors, tables, tools. There's some tools, millstones and things. And that is what masonry workshops do. Stoneworkers workshops do. The mechanics workshop is pretty limited. They make mechanisms which are used to build machines, and they can make traction benches which are used in hospitals for setting bones, I think, primarily. And maybe for surgical upper things. So I'm just going to manually add a number of jobs. You can see how manually setting each workshop job is kind of tedious. So what I'm going to do here is build a table and a chair, neither of which are called, and of course the game is going to save because it's spring. Hey, cheers to spring. Did we get any snow? I guess I can't find out right now. It was snowing, but I feel like that only happened in late winter, so it doesn't seem to be a major thing. My computer always decides that the game isn't responding when it's saving. No snow now. Okay, so in any case, we've still got the workshop menu open here. I was going to make a table and a chair. Oh, yeah, maybe a door first. Make a door, a table, and of course, chairs are called thrones for some reason. A reason of a little bit of inconsistency. I also have made some coffins, and we need to set up some tombs. Oh, I made doors for tombs as well, actually, so I'm going to start digging out an area for that purpose, maybe down here. So these will be very simple tombs, purely for the purpose of honorably entombing the fallen dwarves, of which hopefully there won't be any more real soon. Oh, and my population is super happy. You can see here, look at how 10 of the 14 are quite upset. So that's not ideal. So in this version of the game, each tomb needs to be its own room. And I'm going to be setting up very small rooms for this purpose. Basically, well, you'll see in a moment here. What kind of stone is this? Bauxite. All right, nicely sort of orangey red color. So we're going to build some doors. Doors. We're going to repeat that. We're going to set up 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then I'm going to also build the coffins. Burial. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you choose what you're going to build, and then you choose the constructed item to actually build it out of. So in this case, the dwarves are going to set up 4 coffins and 4 doors. Once that is done, you're going to have to move that stone. Oh, we moved the stone on top of the coffin. Right. Okay, well, that's fine. Is that done? Now I'm going to designate these as tombs. So you do that by setting up zones. You can do it one at a time, but the game has a feature called multi-select. It'll only work if you have chambers that are separated by doors, basically. They can be a lot bigger than this, but I've just made very small chambers. So I'm going to choose multi, choose the rectangle that contains all of the coffins, and do that, and you can see up here 4 tombs were created. There's actually a crash bug in the game right now. If you undesignate a tomb, the game will crash. I discovered that the hard way. So now the dwarves should start putting the remains of dwarves into these coffins, these tombs, and you can see here that Rovad Lolo Kasteb, the ghostly miner, has been put to rest, which is great. So if we click on one of these coffins, you'll see that Rovad Lolokasteb's mangled skeleton is in the coffin. If there's other body parts to be buried, they will do that. This is Dodok the Fisher Dwarf, and this is Zulban Kilrudolush the Mason. See, they're called Masons. Okay, whatever. Masons work in stoneworker shops. Now we're going to build a door. The one door that I built for this office. Why is it built out of chalk? Okay, anyway, not going to worry about that right now. We're also going to build the table and the chair, which is called a chair here, but it's called a throne when you build it. So we're going to place a throne, and we've got a petition now too. Okay, what's the petition? Sigun Rumorland says wishes to reside in Parchboot for the purpose of eradicating monsters. Do you approve? Well, I guess I do. We'll see what Sigan is about. Oh, Sigan or Sagoon is a Marksdwarf. Interesting. Competent Marksdwarf. Well, Sigoon, we could have used you when the giant bull moose was rampaging through the place. Alrighty, so we've talked a little bit about stoneworkers, masons. We've talked a little bit about mechanics, which looks like those jobs are done. Let's go take a look at the stockpile. All right, so you can see here we've got mechanisms. This is a chert, mechanisms. Weird pluralization there. We've got some rotten parts. Oh, Zuglar's left foot. Lovely. Nothing but grisliness going on in this game. Okay, so I think our last subject, so mechanics can be used to make things. I have a couple of cages here. So a simple early game thing to make with mechanisms are things like drawbridges, which actually, come to think of it, maybe I will make a drawbridge. So I'm going to build a drawbridge. Where am I going to build the drawbridge? I'm going to build it outside the wall here. And clear the notices. So I'm going to build a machine. And it is not called a machine, is it? So we're going to build a what? A construction? Nope. What on earth are we? What is this called? Oh, no, it is a construction. Pardon me. Bridge. So you can you can have the bridge draw, basically flip up in one direction, and essentially it's west, north, south, or east. And in this case, I'm going to build it here so it flips up against the wall and closes off that door, which is right now the only way in or out of the fortress. What is that? Dead something. So that's actually the default orientation is what I want in this case. You can also have it retract, which doesn't seem to make a lot of physical sense in this sort of a situation. But we could have it do that. That wouldn't really serve any purpose. Let's say you had a bridge spanning a chasm or a moat or something, which would be another thing you could do. You could dig out a moat, for example. Then you could have the bridge retract. But in this case, I'm just going to have it be a bridge that flips up against the wall, like so, and we are going to make it out of something. We're going to make it out of chert. We need 2 blocks or stone pieces, boulders, I guess. Actually, you know what? Let's make it out of bauxite so it'll be nice and orange. There we go. So there you go. Orangey brown bauxite bridge will be built. And then what I will do is link it to a lever in the fortress with mechanisms. And the dwarves, in an emergency, you can have them pull the lever, and then the bridge will flip up against the wall and presumably keep out certain types of bad creatures. Ones that are winged can fly over the walls, and certain types can probably climb over the walls, but we're just going to go for the basics here at the moment. Now I should probably set up a pasture, which is not specifically what this episode is about, but I don't want my animals to starve to death, so we'll accept that, and then we'll assign some animals. I don't have much here. We've got this ewe. What is this? Oh, that's a kitten. And that's a lamb, I think. And oh, did I lose one of the geese? I did. Darn it. Well, I have a gander. I'm not too worried about one stray gander. Okay, well those are all the animals that I have, so so overgrazing shouldn't be a huge issue. So basically the dwarves come and bring the in this case the ewe to the pasture. They'll also bring the lamb wherever it may be, and then they can graze on the grass, which is sparse. So, oh, well, we've got some dense grasses over here. Oh, what's happening here? Yak blood. Oh, the ewe had probably tracked through some yak blood. I don't know where the lamb is. Somewhere far, far away, presumably. Oh, is the bridge built? Wow, that was quick. Oh, there comes the lamb. So that's good. Let's go back down to the fortress. Here, this area is probably a good place. There's going to be lots of traffic through here because of the kitchens and the stockpiles and things. So I'm going to build a lever, which is under the trap category. No, it is not. I lie. It is under the machine category. Lever. I'm going to stick it. Oh, what's this? Cave wheat. Growing in the middle of nowhere. I'm going to stick it somewhere. Where am I going to put this lever? Often I'll make a little niche for it, but I have not done that. Well, I don't know that I have any plans to go this way, so maybe I'll stick the lever right there by the staircase. Make it out of microcline. So the dwarves will build a lever. That was quick. The lever is built. Now, to link it to the bridge, I am going to go into select the lever itself, click on the lever, and you get some, as though it were a workshop, which I guess in a way it is. Anyway, not really. So we're going to link the lever to a bridge, and we need to, I believe, click on there we go. So you can see when I hover over the bridge, there's a green text up here that pops up. Link rough bauxite bridge. So we'll do that. So now a task has been added. Link a building to trigger. In this case, the lever is the trigger. So the mechanic or one of the dwarves will run around and do that. This dwarf here is doing that job right now. And once it is linked, which it is already, that was fast. If I set a pull lever task, that drawbridge will flip up. I should use my other arm, flip up like so against the wall. No, is it this way? Oh, it is that way. Like so. It's tough when you're mirrored. I have to look at myself over here. So anyway, it'll flip up against the wall. Now I don't really want to do that because if an animal or a dwarf is standing on the bridge, they will get either flung up in the air or smashed against the wall, both of which are probably not desirable outcomes except in maybe an emergency. So that's mechanics, a little bit about mechanics, building mechanisms. We talked about, didn't talk about managers yet. Oh, good, a desk with a rock on it. We did talk about masonry, stoneworking. I should probably make a pile for mechanisms. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. All right, anyway, back to setting up a manager. So this is or it can be rather, a room. Can I turn it into a room from this menu? No, dwarves are using it as a dining room. I think I need to do it through the zones menu. So we're going to turn this into an office. There we go. We're going to select all of that plus the door. So the office has been created. And now I'm going to open up the nobles and administrators menu down here in the corner, bottom of the screen with the little crown. And I'm not going to read the help text, but what I want to do is add a manager. Now I have nobody with any relevant skills. Great. And I've been scrolling, so I've lost my place in the game. Can I find it again? Nope, that's way too deep. I'm looking at the map on the up in the upper corner there to look for my, there it is. All right, so nobody has any management skills. So you there, you soap maker who's not doing anything, congratulations, you're the manager. So the manager needs an office. They need a meager study is all they need. Now this office, if I can find it, there it is actually, oh, is it the chair that I have? Oh my goodness. No, it's the zone. Okay, so you select the zone menu and bring it up. Click in it here, click in it here, click in it enough times until your click takes. And you can set up locations in zones like offices and meeting areas, but right now I just want to assign it by clicking on the little dwarf head icon with a plus, and I'm going to assign it to Zuglar, the manager. And oh, apparently his spouse comes along with the deal. That's fine. I don't really care about that. And that's it. So now we have a manager in our fortress. Probably not a very good one, but at least will allow management of work orders, and then you don't have to go in and manually add, ouch, excuse me. I've got some neurological issues that we don't need to talk about right now. If I suddenly wince or double over in pain, that would almost certainly be the reason. Managers. So anyway, you can add tasks. It's a pain to manually add every task. You know, for onesie twosie things, you know, you'll probably still tend to do that. But for anything more complicated than that, you're going to want to use the manager. So where's the menu for that? Oh, never mind. It's here. Work orders. You can use the hotkey O, or you can click on the work orders. Now, because we have a manager, we can now add work orders. Prior to there being a manager, this would have basically I think there's some red text that says, you need a manager. So now we can make work orders. You have to click in the text box, which is not ideal because you're essentially probably never going to come in this menu. Well, maybe I'm wrong about that. But having it auto select the text box wouldn't hurt. I mean, you can go through this menu and like do it entirely graphically, but I find it so much more effective to search all tasks. We're just going to click in here, and I'm going to set up some bedrooms. So I'm going to make beds. I've got 15 dwarves. Did somebody have a baby? Somebody must have had a baby. I'm going to make beds, and I'm going to say I want 15 beds by hitting, here's the other thing to talk about. So you can set the number of workshops that can be used. Like if you have a thriving fortress, maybe you've got, I don't know, 4 stoneworkers workshops. So you can say, maybe only use 2 of those workshops to build my rock tables. And then over here, you can choose how many. You can increment or decrement the number, or make it one higher or one lower by clicking on the plus and minus, or you can type in a number by clicking on this number. Now, the other thing that I like to put into dwarven bedrooms is coffers, chests, basically. The game uses the term coffer and chest interchangeably out of rock. So rock, coffer, or coffin, but in this case I want coffers. And I also want 15 of those. Every dwarf gets a coffer, and every dwarf gets a cabinet. Rock, cabinet. The reason I'm saying rock is that you don't actually need to type the whole word necessarily. In fact, all you need to type is CA for a cabinet. The reason I'm selecting rock is that you can make some of these things out of other materials, metals and glasses and things. But you do metals and glass, I should say, or ceramics in some cases. You do, however, need the appropriate workshop set up for that, which we do not have. but we do have a stoneworker workshop. So once these work orders are approved, this work order is ready to activate. Okay, so we unpause the game, and then we should see before too long that the manager will set about to approve work orders. That is Zuglar the hunter. So that's actually not the manager, that's the manager's spouse. So at some point, Zuglar the manager will come and approve those work orders. And then the dwarves will set to work. The work orders will get assigned to workshops. In this case, it'll be the masonry workshop. Okay, so well, that's the hunter. I didn't see Zuglar. Apparently Zuglar didn't come to the workshop to approve the work orders, which is interesting. I thought that was a thing they did. Now you can see over here with the green check boxes that the work orders are active. The rock coffer and the rock cabinet take place in the stoneworkers workshop. Oh, which reminds me, I also need to make 15 doors if I'm going to make 15 bedrooms. Rock, door, 15 doors. So those rock ones will all happen in the stoneworkers workshop. The beds will happen in a carpentry workshop. So this is the stoneworkers workshop. So far, only the coffer and cabinet orders have been approved and added to the workshop. And up here in the carpentry workshop, we'll see that the bed making is underway. So what else? Oh, my fortress is running out of drink again. Delightful. Do I have empty barrels? Oh, yes, I do. Hopefully we have stuff to brew. Add, brew infinitely. Brew forever until you run out of stuff to brew. We've got some mangled skeletons. I'm going to start making some bone crafts, which hopefully will use up those skeletons. And we've got some metal, we've got some beds, we've got an antler. Oh, is that from that moose? It is. Wow. Giant moose cow hair. Giant moose cow. I don't remember there being a giant moose cow. Alrighty. Anyway, super exciting. It's time for me to start thinking about setting up specialized stockpiles. This is like the store everything stockpile. Although I did deselect certain items. I'm going to tell the dwarves to gather the cave wheat that's growing in the middle of the... Oh, actually, I'm going to tell them to gather everything that might be growing here. So there's some sweet pods and quarry bushes, and this is a young fungi wood tree, or fungus, I guess. I don't think that can punch through to the surface from down there, so I doubt it'll ever mature. Alrighty, what did I set out to cover in this one? Let me look at my text file. Managers, masonry, and mechanics, also tombs. We've covered all of that. Wow, nothing weird happened in recording this tutorial. I can hardly believe it. All right, that is going to bring this tutorial to a close. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you got some enjoyment out of that, possibly learned something about the game. If you are watching a tutorial, presumably you're interested in learning about the game. It is a great game, and I do appreciate your tuning in. Take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.